Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the ESS Pathfinder, Earth's most advanced deep space exploration vessel, as it emerged from hyperspace at the edge of uncharted space. The ship's quantum sensors painted a detailed picture of the surrounding stellar neighborhood on the bridge's holographic displays, revealing an unusual concentration of artificial signals. Multiple contacts detected, Captain. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station, dark eyes fixed on the spreading web of data before him. Configuration unknown, but definitely artificial. Their energy signatures suggest significant technological advancement. Chen nodded, her expression remaining calm despite the gravity of the situation. Humanity had encountered only 2 other spacefaring species in its brief venture into the stars, and neither of those meetings had gone particularly well. Standard first contact protocols. Power defensive systems, but keep weapons cold. Let's not repeat the mistakes of the past. The Pathfinder's sleek form glided forward, its advanced stealth systems actively gathering data on the unknown vessels. They were elegant things, all sweeping curves and iridescent hulls that seemed to shift color as they moved through space. The alien ships appeared to be engaged in some sort of mining operation around a nearby asteroid field. "They've spotted us," Rodriguez announced, just as a burst of complex energy patterns washed over the ship. "We're being scanned, extensively." Before Chen could respond, the ship's AI, manifested a holographic avatar beside her. "Captain, I'm detecting quantum encryption patterns similar to our own. They're attempting to establish communication. Accept the transmission, but maintain our defensive posture," Chen ordered. The main view screen shimmered, revealing a humanoid figure with silver-scaled skin and multifaceted eyes that reflected light like diamonds. "Unknown vessel," the alien spoke, its words automatically translated by AI. "You have entered territory claimed by the Xeraxian Empire. Identify yourself immediately." Chen stepped forward, her posture straight but non-threatening. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth spaceship Pathfinder. We are an exploration vessel from Earth, seeking peaceful contact with other civilizations." The Xeraxian commander's faceted eyes narrowed. "Earth, we have no record of your species in our databases. How did you achieve faster-than-light travel without our awareness?" "We developed it independently," Chen replied simply, noting the hint of disbelief in the alien's tone. It was a reaction they'd encountered before. Older spacefaring races often struggled to accept that humanity had advanced so quickly. "Impossible," the Xeraxian declared. "No species achieves quantum-fold technology without guidance. You must have stolen this technology. Power down your systems and prepare for boarding. We will determine the truth of this matter." Chen's expression hardened. "I'm afraid I can't comply with that request. We are an independent species operating in neutral space. We have no obligation to submit to your authority." The Xeraxian commander's scales flickered with patterns of light that ARIA's translation matrix interpreted as anger and disbelief. "You dare refuse? Your primitive vessel cannot hope to resist the might of the Empire. This is your final warning." "Sir," Rodriguez interrupted, "they're powering up weapon systems. Energy signatures suggest plasma-based weaponry, similar to our Mark II prototypes." Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Xeraxians had made the same mistake as the others, assuming that humanity's rapid advancement meant technological inferiority. "Area, initiate defense pattern Delta. Show them what primitive looks like." As the first Xeraxian energy weapons lanced out toward the Pathfinder, the human vessel's quantum shield matrix sprang to life. The alien attack scattered harmlessly across barriers of twisted space-time, while the Pathfinder's own systems came fully online. "Target their weapon systems only," Chen ordered. "Precision strikes, minimal damage. Let's show them we could hurt them if we wanted to, but choose not to." The Pathfinder's response was surgical. Concentrated beams of exotic particles stripped away the Xeraxian vessel's weapon capabilities without compromising their hull integrity. In the space of 30 seconds, the entire squadron had been effectively neutered. By the first light, the Zeraxian commander breathed, their patterns of bioluminescence now showing shock and fear. "What are you?" "We are human," Chen answered simply, "and we would still prefer to talk peacefully, despite your hostile actions. The galaxy is vast enough for both our peoples, don't you think?" The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the subtle hum of the Pathfinder systems. In that moment, Chen knew that humanity had once again demonstrated why they had survived and thrived against all odds, not through overwhelming force, but through the perfect balance of capability and restraint. The Zeraxian commander's next words would reshape the balance of power in this sector of space forever. Perhaps we should talk after all." The grand meeting chamber aboard the Zeraxian diplomatic vessel Eternal Light hummed with nervous energy. 3 days had passed since the encounter between the Pathfinder and the Imperial mining fleet, and now representatives from both species sat across from each other at a table of polished crystalline material that seemed to glow from within. Ambassador Michael Hayes studied his counterparts with careful attention. The Zeraxians had arrived with a full delegation: military officers, scientists, and diplomats, their scaled skin shifting through patterns of iridescent color that their cultural liaison had explained indicated various emotional states. Currently, they displayed patterns suggesting a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "Our analysis of your vessel's capabilities has raised concerns within the Imperial Council," spoke High Diplomat Vextal, their faceted eyes reflecting the chamber's ambient light. "No emerging species should possess such advanced technology." Hayes smiled diplomatically. "Yet here we are. Humanity has always been driven to push boundaries, to innovate. Our history is filled with moments where we achieved the supposedly impossible." Captain Chen, seated beside Hayes, activated a holographic display showing Earth's technological progression. "In less than 3 centuries, we went from primitive combustion engines to quantum fold drives. Our rapid advancement comes from necessity. Earth's resources were depleting, and our survival depended on reaching the stars." "Remarkable," murmured Chief Scientist Ixel, their scales rippling with patterns of academic interest, "but also deeply troubling. The Empire has guided the development of dozens of species. This unforeseen emergence disrupts the natural order." "Perhaps it's time for that order to evolve," Hayes suggested carefully. "Humanity doesn't seek to disrupt. We seek to collaborate, to learn, to share knowledge." The Zeraxian military representative, Commander Zaxlor, shifted forward. "Your ships demonstrated weapons capabilities that match or exceed our own. How can we trust these peaceful intentions?" "The same way we're trusting you now," Chen replied. "We could have destroyed your mining fleet. Instead, we disabled their weapons with minimal damage. Our technology serves our goals: survival and peaceful exploration." The chamber fell silent as the Zeraxians communicated through subtle color patterns. Hayes had been briefed on this behavior, a form of silent deliberation unique to their species. Finally, Vextal spoke again. "We propose a technological exchange program, supervised sharing of specific advances, under strict Imperial oversight." Hayes exchanged glances with Chen before responding. "We're open to exchanges, but as equals. Humanity won't accept oversight from." The chamber's lighting suddenly shifted to deep red. "Priority alert," announced the ship's eye. "Multiple unidentified vessels have just quantum jumped into the system." Commander Zaxlor's scales flashed urgent patterns. "These are not Imperial ships." The main display activated, showing 12 vessels of unknown configuration approaching rapidly. Their design was organic, almost predatory, completely unlike either human or Zeraxian architecture. "The vessels are powering weapons," reported Chen's tactical officer through the comm. "Energy signatures unlike anything in our database." The unknown ships opened fire without warning or demand for surrender. Their weapons, beams of what appeared to be coherent darkness, struck both human and Zeraxian vessels with devastating effect. "Pathfinder, combat status," Chen demanded. "Quantum shields holding at 60%, Captain." These weapons are somehow phasing through our defensive matrix. Hayes watched as the Zeraxian diplomat's color patterns shifted to what he recognized as alarm. "Your ships are equally vulnerable," he asked quickly. "Confirmed," Zaxlor replied, their previous suspicion forgotten in the face of this new threat. "Our standard defenses are ineffective." Chen's tactical training kicked in. "Ambassador, with your permission." Hayes nodded, turning to Vextal. "How quickly can your ships adapt to coordinate with ours?" The Zeraxian diplomat's scales rippled with decisive patterns. "Commander Zaxlor has full authority. The Empire will not forget if you stand with us now." "Pathfinder to all human vessels," Chen announced, as tactical data began flowing between the two fleets. "Coordinate with Zeraxian ships. Combined defense pattern Delta 7. Let's show these attackers what happens when they push both our species into a corner." As the unknown vessels pressed their attack, human and Zeraxian ships moved in perfect synchronization. The Pathfinder's quantum shields extended protective bubbles around nearby Zeraxian ships, while Imperial energy weapons fired through specifically calculated gaps in the defensive matrix. The marriage of human innovation and Zeraxian tactical experience proved devastating. Within minutes, 3 of the attacking ships had been disabled, their strange organic hulls breached by precisely coordinated fire. The remaining vessels suddenly broke off their attack, vanishing into quantum space as quickly as they had appeared. In their wake, they left more questions than answers, and the foundation of what might become a powerful alliance. "It seems," Vextal observed, their scales now showing patterns of respect and cautious optimism, "that we have much to learn from each other after all." Deep within the joint human-Zeraxian research facility, hastily established on a neutral space station, Dr. Maya Patel leaned over a holographic projection of the recovered debris from the mysterious attack vessels. Her fingers traced the strange, almost organic patterns that seemed to shift even in their inert state. "These materials shouldn't exist," she muttered, her dark eyes reflecting the shimmer of the hologram. Beside her, Chief Scientist Ixel's scales rippled with patterns of scientific fascination. "The molecular structure defies conventional physics," the Zeraxian scientist agreed. "It appears to exist partially in quantum space, even when inactive." The research bay's doors slid open with a soft hiss as Captain Chen and Commander Zaxlor entered. The military leaders had spent the last week coordinating defensive strategies against potential future attacks. "Tell me you found something useful," Chen said, studying the holographic display. "We've detected 3 more incursions in nearby systems. Whatever these beings are, they're growing bolder." Dr. Patel manipulated the hologram, zooming in on a particular section of the debris. "We found something, all right, but you're not going to like it." She highlighted a series of complex patterns embedded within the material structure. "These aren't random. They're coordinates." "Coordinates?" Zaxlor's scales flickered with confusion. "To where?" "To here," Ixel answered, their patterns showing deep concern. "More specifically, to this exact region of space. These vessels weren't just attacking us. They were scanning, looking for something." Chen crossed her arms, her expression grim. "Any idea what they're searching for?" Before anyone could answer, the station's AI interrupted. "Captain, Ambassador Hayes, and High Diplomat Vextal request your immediate presence in the conference room. Priority level Alpha." The conference room's atmosphere was tense when they arrived. Hayes stood before a large stellar display, his usually composed demeanor showing signs of strain. Vextal's scales displayed patterns that Dr. Patel's crash course in Zeraxian emotion had taught her indicated extreme agitation. "We've been going through both our species' historical records," Hayes began without preamble, "looking for any mention of technology similar to our attackers. We found this." The display shifted to show ancient cave paintings from Earth, dating back over 50,000 years. Alongside them appeared similarly aged Zeraxian crystalline records. Both showed strikingly similar images, dark, organic-looking vessels descending from the sky. "The Harbingers," Vextal said softly, their scales now showing patterns of ancient dread. According to our oldest legends, they were beings who existed between spaces, appearing throughout our early history to test us. We had similar legends, Hayes added. Stories of shadows in the sky, watching, waiting. Most historians dismissed them as primitive attempts to explain natural phenomena. Until now, Chen finished, connecting the dots. They're not legends. They're records. Dr. Patel stepped forward, pulling up her analysis of the debris. That explains the quantum-phased material. These beings don't just use advanced technology. They've evolved to exist partially in quantum space itself. But why return now? Zaxlor demanded, their scales showing military alertness. Why attack both our species the moment we begin diplomatic contact? The answer came from an unexpected source. The station's lights flickered as every display simultaneously activated, showing the same image, a massive structure, clearly artificial but sharing the same organic design as the attack vessels, hidden within a nearby nebula. Because we found it, announced Araya, the Pathfinder's AI, now linked to the station's systems. Or more accurately, our combined sensor networks found it. The quantum resonance of our ship's engines during the battle created a detection pattern that revealed its location. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Whatever this structure was, the Harbingers had gone to extraordinary lengths to keep it hidden. And now, thanks to the inadvertent collaboration between human and Xeraxian technology, its existence was exposed. We need to reach it first, Chen said, breaking the silence, before they realize we found it. Agreed. Zaxlor's scales pulsed with determined patterns. But our ships cannot withstand another direct confrontation with their weapons. Dr. Patel's eyes lit up with sudden inspiration. Maybe they don't have to. She manipulated the holographic debris analysis. If we can adapt our quantum drives to match the phase variance of their hull material, we could exist in the same quantum state. Ixal finished, their scales showing excitement, rendering their weapons far less effective. How quickly can you make the modifications? Hayes asked, looking between the scientists. With both our teams working together, Dr. Patil allowed herself a small smile. Give us 48 hours. Make it 24, Chen ordered. I have a feeling we're racing against time. As the combined research teams rushed to begin their work, Hayes turned to Vextal, still concerned about humanity's rapid technological advancement. The Xeraxian diplomat's scales showed a pattern that translated roughly to wry amusement. Perhaps it's exactly what we needed to face what's coming. The nebula loomed before them, its swirling clouds of purple and blue gas concealing the ancient secret within. The joint human-Xeraxian fleet hung in formation at its edge. 3 human vessels, including the Pathfinder, and 4 Xeraxian ships, all modified with Dr. Patil and Ixal's quantum phase technology. Captain Chen stood on the Pathfinder's bridge, now sharing space with Commander Zaxlor. The decision to integrate command crews had been controversial but necessary. The modified systems required precise coordination between both species' operational styles. Phase variance holding steady, reported Lieutenant Rodriguez, working in tandem with his Xeraxian counterpart. Quantum shields synchronized across all vessels. ARIA, begin nebula penetration scan, Chen ordered. The AI's avatar shimmered into existence, its form now incorporating elements of both human and Xeraxian design, a visual representation of their technological merger. Scanning, ARIA confirmed, detecting significant gravitational anomalies. The nebula's structure appears artificially maintained. Zaxlor's scales flickered with tactical assessment patterns. The Harbingers are using the nebula itself as a defense system. Clever, but not clever enough, Chen replied, allowing herself a small smile. Araya, plot a course through the gravitational eddies. Rodriguez, transmit the path to all ships. The fleet move as one, their modified drives humming with an otherworldly resonance as they penetrated the nebula's outer layers. The view screens filled with swirling gases, occasionally parting to reveal glimpses of the structure hidden within. Energy spike. Rodriguez called out suddenly. Multiple contacts emerging from quantum space. The Harbinger vessels appeared around them, their dark organic forms seeming to bleed into existence from the nebula itself. But this time, the human Zeraxian fleet was ready. All ships, execute defense pattern Omega, Chen commanded. Let's show them what we've learned. The battle that followed was unlike anything either species had experienced before. The modified ships phased in and out of normal space, matching the Harbinger's quantum state. Energy weapons from both sides passed harmlessly through targets as vessels shifted between states, creating an elaborate dance of timing and precision. Their attack patterns are changing, Zaxlor observed, their scales showing intense concentration. They're adapting to our modifications. As expected, Chen replied. AI, initiate second phase. The AI's avatar nodded, and suddenly the fleet's formation shifted. The human ship's quantum drives pulsed in a complex pattern, creating a resonance field that the Zeraxian vessel's energy weapons could ride upon, a technique that had only been theorized until now. The combined attack caught the Harbinger vessels off guard. Two of their ships were hit directly, their organic hulls unable to compensate for the novel assault. They withdrew quickly, seeming to dissolve back into quantum space. Path to the structure is clear, Rodriguez reported. But that was too easy. Agreed. Zaxlor's scales showed caution. They're letting us approach. As the fleet drew closer, the nebula parted to fully reveal their objective. The structure was massive, easily the size of a small moon, and seemed to pulse with internal energy. Its surface was covered in the same organic technological patterns as the Harbinger ships, but these appeared dormant, ancient. AI, full scan, Chen ordered. What are we looking at? The eye was silent for a moment, processing the enormous amount of data. Structure appears to be a quantum computer of immense complexity. It's broadcasting something, a signal, encoded in the fabric of space-time itself. Can you decode it? Attempting now. The signal appears to repeat on a cycle of approximately 50,000 years. Dr. Patel's voice came over the comm from her research station. That matches the timing of the ancient records. Every 50,000 years, the Harbingers appear in our histories. Signal decoded, Araya announced. It appears to be a test. The structure suddenly blazed with energy, patterns of light racing across its surface. A voice echoed through every ship's communication system, speaking in a language that seemed to bypass the need for translation. The alliance was achieved. The species have merged their knowledge. Phase 1 is complete. Chen and Zaxlor exchanged glances. Phase 1. They asked simultaneously. The Harbingers were never our enemy. Dr. Patel's voice was filled with sudden understanding. This whole thing, the attacks, the hidden structure, it was all designed to force our species to work together. But why? Chen demanded. The answer came as a new wave of energy pulsed from the structure, carrying with it images that filled every screen and holographic display. They showed a darkness spreading between the stars, a threat far greater than anything either humanity or the Zeraxian Empire had ever faced. Because what's coming, the ancient voice responded, will require all of us to survive. The combined fleet hung in space before the ancient structure, its crews still processing the terrifying visions they'd received. The darkness between the stars wasn't metaphorical. It was literal. Something was consuming the very fabric of space-time itself, creating vast regions where physics simply ceased to function. Captain Chen stood in the Pathfinder's main conference room, now crowded with both human and Zeraxian leaders. The holographic display showed the structure's data streaming in real time, translated by Araya's enhanced processing capabilities. The Harbingers aren't just one species, Dr. Patel explained, gesturing to the complex quantum signatures scrolling past. They're what remains of dozens of civilizations from the previous cycle, merged together through quantum technology to survive the void's expansion. Our testing of your species was necessary. A new voice spoke as a harbinger representative materialized in the room, its form shifting between states of matter. Only those who can overcome their differences and achieve true cooperation have any hope of survival. Commander Zaxlor's scales displayed patterns of deep concern. How long do we have? The void expands exponentially. The harbinger responded. Based on current calculations, it will reach the edges of both your territories within 30 years. Ambassador Hayes leaned forward. And this structure, what exactly is it? A library. A weapon. A key. The harbinger's form rippled. It contains the combined knowledge of every species that faced the void before you, including the quantum technology needed to exist outside normal spacetime. As we do. Which is why you attacked us, Chen realized. To force us to develop quantum phase technology on our own, proving we could grasp the concepts, and to demonstrate that your species could work together. The harbinger confirmed. The void cannot be fought by any one civilization. It requires a unity of purpose and technology that few achieve in time. Dr. Patil was studying the technical data with growing excitement. These quantum principles, they're beyond anything we've imagined, but I can see how they build on what we've already developed. Together with the Xeraxian understanding of energy manipulation, we could adapt our entire civilizations to survive in quantum space. Ixal finished, their scales showing patterns of scientific revelation. Not just ships, but stations, planets. It won't be easy, the harbinger warned. The process of learning to exist between states of reality is dangerous. Many civilizations destroy themselves in the attempt. Chen looked at Zaxlor, seeing her own determination reflected in the commander's crystalline eyes. We don't have a choice. It's adapt or perish. The Empire's resources are yours, Zaxlor declared, their scales showing patterns of absolute commitment. All our worlds, all our knowledge. Earth will stand with you, Hayes added. All human territories will begin preparations immediately. The harbinger's form stabilized slightly, showing what might have been approval. Then we will guide you, as we were guided. The cycle continues. No, Chen said firmly, surprising everyone. The cycle ends with us. We're not going to just survive in quantum space while the void consumes everything else. We're going to find a way to stop it. The harbinger was silent for a moment. In 50,000 years, no species has proposed this. Then they never faced humanity's stubbornness combined with Xeraxian determination. Chen smiled. We don't accept no-win scenarios. The void is a fundamental force of nature, the harbinger cautioned. It cannot be destroyed. Maybe not, Dr. Patel interjected, already deep in the technical data. But it can be contained. Look at these quantum barrier theoretics. If we scaled them up enormously and integrated them with our solar energy conversion technology, Ixal's scales pulsed with growing excitement. We could create a quantum barrier around the void itself. They finished together. The harbinger's form fluctuated rapidly, surprise, in their quantum language. The energy requirements would be astronomical. Then we'll build astronomical power sources, Hayes said simply. How many stars are in the affected regions? We'll harness them all if we have to. A Dyson sphere network, Zaxlor suggested, their scales showing complex planning patterns. Connected through quantum space, drawing power from thousands of stars simultaneously. Chen turned to the harbinger. You've spent 50,000 years helping species run from this threat. Help us end it instead. Join your knowledge with ours. Together, we can do more than just survive. We can save everything. The harbinger's form shifted through multiple states before stabilizing into a more solid configuration than they'd yet seen. In all our cycles of existence, we have never encountered species quite like yours. Perhaps it is time for the harbingers to do more than harbor. As the combined fleet prepared to return to normal space, carrying the ancient structure's knowledge with them, Chen stood at the Pathfinder's viewport. The nebula's swirling gases seemed less threatening now, more like a curtain being pulled back to reveal new possibilities. "RIA," she said quietly, "send a message to both Earth Command and the Imperial Council. Tell them the universe is about to change. And for once, we're going to change it together." Behind her, human and Ziraxian crew members worked side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of their shared purpose. The void between the stars might be growing, but so was something else. An alliance that would reshape the galaxy, not through force or fear, but through the simple human concept that had brought them to the stars in the first place. The unwavering belief that there's always a way forward, if you're brave enough to find it.